Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm so excited, and I'm excited that you are joining me now for my top 10 games of 2025. This year was an incredible year, so many good games. And I was looking at all the games I played in 2025 to come up with this list, and it was so hard, but eventually I made it. And here we have it. And without further ado, let's start it. At number 10, we have the most recent game that I received and I played. And this game is Rewild. Rewild is an incredible, beautiful looking game. I want to show you the components of this game are incredible. You have this little tree, you have beautiful illustrated cards, are amazing. I really like this art. It's fantastic. And you have gorgeous screen printed tokens with all these animals. These are fantastic. And the beauty for this that obviously the gimmick of this game, they can fit perfectly on top of the trees when necessary. But beside the fantastic of look this game, let's talk about how this game plays. Rewild is a timeline game where you're trying to reestablish the flora and the fauna in the Amazonia. And the thing you do here that's set it apart from all the other tile placement games is that you have a set of cards that allows you to do actions. And this set of cards is identical for everyone. And it's kind of the Concordia or Mission Red Planet type of deck where you play this card to make an action. And you cannot repeat that action unless you play that card that allows you to pick up all the cards back in your hand. So there's not a deck building element, but you have this actual selection and then eventually pick up all the cards and to restart over. And the actions that you can take is some sort of resource generation that you convert some resources into something else to eventually acquire the tiles and place them on your board. And when depending on how many tiles you have, you can upgrade them. And if you get a specific set, you can allow to get some cards that will bring you animals. This animal can be on top. Some animals give you special power. You can have also a small engine going on. It's a very, very beautiful game. It's not too complex, but yet it's not too simple. Has a definitely a great table presence, and yet it has that very light engine building and also card action selection that I really, really enjoy. At the moment, I'm I think in a phase where I enjoy those mid-Euro games that last between 1 hour and 90 minutes. You can present to anyone, including to people that don't have much experience to games, but then the rules are simple enough to be understood, and the presence is so unique that everyone is attracted, everyone is engaged. This is definitely something that I want to explore more. Rewild at number 10. Number 9, we have a very interesting area control engine building game, and this is Everbloom. In Everbloom, you are pollinators going around the board to pollinate flowers, and that will allow you to attract more creatures that look for nectar, and those creatures will give you points. And what is interesting is that you have number of chips, I think between 1 and 4, there's someone has 5, where you bid in which location you're gonna go. And sometimes you want to win the card because it will go to your tableau, but sometimes you want to lose the card because the pollinators that you have spent and they are not gonna get you the card will be utilized to trigger your engine. That is very interesting. I like that kind of I'm gonna go for that card, and someone think that you're gonna go for that card, but you're hoping to lose that card. At the same time, it's interesting when you hope to lose the card, but you actually get it, and there are some nice pivoting that you need to do. I like the engine building. I like this world that is created is very light, but yet very interactive. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and this is number 9, Everbloom. At number 8, we have a game that I think it was released in 2023 or 2024, but this year has a wider and broader release. It was released only in Japan. Now it can be available also in Europe, I believe, and hopefully soon in North America. And this is Bricolage Heads. If you have the 2023 edition, I believe, or Kikai if you have the 2025 edition. Both games are essentially the same. I think the newest version has retweaked a little bit. That's been described as brass for a two-player game. And I can see the similarity. In this game, you are artists creating your Kikai. This is a massive construction or this construction, a massive statue. I don't know how to describe it. Very whimsical looking, sometimes even grotesque. And you're trying to advertise your work and invite the visitors or invite the fans that are gonna then and appreciate your exposition. You have this big board and you have several locations where you build your Kikai, but everything you do is dictated by the cards that you have. Like in Birmingham, you play a card and the location that shows in the card is the location you're gonna do one of the main actions. So, and those cards are very difficult to get. That's very hard hand management and action scarcity that you are facing throughout the game. Do you have a little bit of route building because the fans needs to be advertised or need to have advertisement along the board to get your fans and supported to eventually score points or trigger your engine. And if you don't get or you get blocked by your opponent, you can pay resources to your opponent to allow to utilize their own advertisement on their own route. So very interactive. It's a race. The game can end within 4 rounds, or it can end if you manage to put all the signs token on the board, which essentially being complete or remove all the fan support from 7 different squares. Very, very interactive. There's a very interesting engine building. It's very crunchy. It's very difficult game because those cards are very hard to come by, but it plays in 90 minutes. And that's what I like. I'm not a big fan of brass. Mostly it's the art that it doesn't attract me. And also for the type of game, when you play multiplayer, it can a little bit too slow, too thinking. But because this is a two-player game, it's a back-to-back. You react, counter-react to your opponent. So you put pressure to your opponent. Very, very entertaining. Number 8, Bricolage Heads. And number 7, we have a two-player game, and this is deduction game. And this is Orapamine. Orapamine, I would describe as some sort of battleship in some sense. You have different color shape tokens that you put on your board, and so your opponents. And you imagine to shine beam of light between those figures, and then the lights bounce back and touch those colors. And so from a colorless beam, it may end up, for example, pink. And so you know that you have hidden a white and a red piece of tokens on the opponent board. And also depending on where the beam exits, you know how many angles or deviation that beam has encountered. So it's a nice back and forth and deduction game. It plays very well. In 20 minutes, you are done, but you definitely want to play another time. It's a game that has been repurposed. I think now you have a space, which essentially is the same thing, but in space. I don't know. I don't understand. In that case, I really like the theme Upamine. And the designer is very well involved in BGG because there are some edge cases that have to be cleared out. And I'm very happy with that. And this is an excellent little puck game applied to a Korean publisher. Delivered this tiny and compact game that you can bring it everywhere. And definitely I will do it when you have 20 minutes and you want to spend that very interesting game with your partner. Orapamine is the way to go. And number 6, we have Auction Game and Push Your Luck. And this is Ego, Extraterrestrial Greeting Organization. In this game, you are exploring the space and you're going to encounter aliens that you want to try to be friends with, but sometimes you end up making them mad and that will cost you potentially negative points at the end of the game. In that sense, this is a push your luck and auction game. You have 2 main events that brings these mechanics into life. Throughout the game, you can gather cards, you gather resources, but eventually you're going to use those resources and those cards, especially the cards, for the push your luck element and for the auction. In the push your luck, essentially you draw cards hoping to match some symbols, and if you do, you get your cards into your hand, and you can use those cards to bid towards very juicy rewards, points, special cards, or other rewards. And you repeat this a different number of times, and then eventually who has the most points is the winner. What I like is the push your luck element is not too punishing. So if you get what is called partial success, so you partially meet the suits that you were trying to draw, you are not punished too much. You end up only to get some negative tokens. But if you totally fail, you don't get any punishment because you already failed. You're not gonna get any cards. So I really like that balancing. I like the auction. There are several different type of auction. It's a very interactive game, but it's also I realized that it's a little bit fragile. I've played it with some folks that I don't know if they understood the nuances of this game or it's just simply not a type of game. One of the nuances that I really like during the auction is that the person after you can either bid the same or bid higher. And this is a crucial decision because when you raise, it's it's more critical than when you bid the same. Bidding the same is a very big advantage. So when you want to raise, how punishing can be raising is unbelievable difficult to realize until you see it the first time. I didn't realize it immediately. But as soon as I see it playing or taking place in front of me, I can see the nuances of how important it is to decide when to match the previous bid or when to raise it. Because raising it is better to be ready to raise even more because people can match that. Or it can be a very powerful tool to make think that you are stronger than you are. And so people will pass and give you the cards that you found. Very, very clever mechanism in this auction. Very, very clever game from Rania Knizia. And this is Eagle. At number 5, we have my most anticipated game of 2025. Oh boy, he had delivered. This is a huge, massive box. Here, this is a game that lasts 100, 200 minutes, and it is Sweetlands by Uchiba designer Tatsuo Chuo. This is a massive Euro game. It's a fantastic scene. The king of Sweetlands is dying and you need to replace it with sweet, sweet treats. And the way you do it is by building your kingdom, and your kingdom will give you resources, but you need to use those resources to go up on tracks that give you eventually end game scoring conditions, but also to bring new tokens that will give you more resources, a better engine, and also victory points. They are public objectives, they are secret objectives, but the key mechanism of this huge Euro game are your cards. Your cards are utilized to do an action or to spend them to have some special powers. This is also a game where there is scarcity in the action. It is all about efficiency in your action. How much can you pull off with one simple action? The juicy action on the board, there's also a work and placement element. Very few, they get taken very rapidly. So it's all about how to jiggle with your cards in your hands and try to get the best. And those cards are very powerful. But for any action you do, you need to spend a card. So playing a card means spending 2 cards. And you have a limited number of cards. And after that, your round is over. So there's so much scarcity, and you're really, really trying to squeeze everything you can from your lemons to make the best key lime pie possible. The art is gorgeous. The components are gorgeous. It's a beast to put on the table. This is why it's not number 1, but it's something that every time I finish playing, I'm still thinking about it, and I want to come back and try to do better. It's a very, very hard game. In the rule books, it says that you do decently if you score more than 300. I haven't even got close to that. I enjoy every single minute of it. This is Sweetland. And number 4, we have a tiny box, and this is Otter. This is a card shedding game for all the family. It's a very simple card shedding game. You need to play the card and match the condition of the otters on the table. There are conditions on the head and the tail of the otter. Even numbers. Play the fish. Play the shellfish, so on and so forth. But the key mechanic is if you can match it, head and tail, you keep playing cards. So it's a race to shed all your cards as soon as possible. At the beginning of the turn, you can shuffle the head or the tails, but that will cost you to draw cards. So it's also how much is worth swapping heads on tails compared to getting cards that maybe don't fit your strategy. But I really like that kind of cascade of shedding all your cards and race to be the quick one. And this is an excellent game for family. I didn't expect this game to be that high and to enjoy that much. And this is Otters. And number 3, we have another game that has not been released in 2025, but now is widely available in North America. And this is Rumble Nation. Rumble Nation is an area control game where the rules are very simple. You have 3 dice, you roll them, you select two to select where you're going to send your soldier, and one essentially dictates how many soldiers you can send. That's it. And then you resolve the area from the lowest value to the highest value, that which also match the victory points. Every time you win, or the winner of each area can reinforce the adjacent area. So you can don't have many warriors in the low or higher scoring areas, but by the end of the scoring round, you have a reinforced because you have won all the small values area. Very, very interesting, very back and forth. It plays in 20 minutes. This goes very well with all the people that I play with. I really, really enjoy it. This is so hard to not have fun with it. Number 3, Rumble Nation. And number 2, we have deduction game, a kind of the crew on steroids, and this is Eternal Decks. Simple rules that you need, both you and your teammates need to gather some gems by the end of whatever. There are several conditions you can end the game. There's no communication. The only thing, you play a card and you place on the tableau, matching some conditions that are shown. And these are all that. These are usual interference, or try to understand why your partner have played that card in that location. There's some communication, say, please, let's try to finish the row. I want to have those cards because when you finish row, you get more cards in your hands and they give you special power. There are some very, very interesting deduction things that are going on. Is something I was expecting to enjoy, but I was not expecting to enjoy that much. And this is Eternal Decks, and number 2. And number 1, we have a game that perhaps the theme, perhaps the look is just so dear to my heart. And this is this big boy, Cretaceous Rail. Cretaceous Rail, you have trains, you have dinosaurs, you have a route building to connect them, or your resort and your tourists, to allow them to see the dinosaur that they want. They will come back to you. You can use them to have an engine building to get you more tourists, to get you better dinosaur, expand your resort. It's in a very interesting way you select the action to do that. You have a always changing grid, and you put a pawn between 2 tiles, and those are 2 actions that you're going to do. So depending every game, you're going to have some action or combo of action that are more interesting, more powerful, and everyone will going to go for that. So you need to tactically change and re-strategize every turn. Very, very interactive, very, very appealing, and always definitely a very interesting present look. The toy factor is definitely there. And this is a game that is really a pleasure to me, and I look forward to play the next time. And this is my favorite game playing in 2025, Cretaceous Rail at number 1. And what are your favorite games? Please write in the comment below. Let me know if I missed something, or I should have added something else on this list. And if you made it so far, I want to thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share with your friends. You know the drill. This is not your first YouTube video, am I right? Thank you very much, and see you next time.